gonna waste my time. I know that we got connection. I think about you, for you, my love. You drive me crazy, tell me what to do, what to do. I'm on my knees, yeah, I am begging you, begging you. I'll break the rules if it will get me to, yeah. I can't get you out of my mind. I can't live without your love for sure. You drive me crazy, tell me what to do, what to do. I'm on my knees, yeah, I am begging you, begging you. I'll break the rules if it will get me to, yeah. I'm going out of my mind. We only don't sleep because the party don't stop. So put your hands on me and turn me on, turn me on. We only don't sleep because the party don't stop. So put your hands on me and turn me on, turn me on.
We get down to the beat, y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all. It's like we're not going anywhere. Maybe it's because there's something in the air. And I don't even care, no, I don't even care anymore. It's like we're losing all track of time. I just got one thing on my mind. Baby, one day I'm hoping that you will be mine. Turn my life around. Wow. So where do we go when everything feels like it just stays the same? Where do we go from here when everything is said and done? This is what we do. We get down to the beat, y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all. Let's get down. We get down to the beat, y'all. Yeah, it's like I'm stuck in this mystic cloud, waiting for something I can't get out. And I don't even care, no, I don't even care anymore. It's like we're losing all track of time. I just got one thing on my mind. Baby, one day I'm hoping that you will be mine. Turn my life around. Wow. Yay. Where do we
Okay, my audio's on. Everything seems to be working.
Awesome.
Yep, your audio's working too. Okay, welcome everyone to, I guess, Apple Talk with Painfully Honest Tech. Welcome, Jason, to the stream. And
Thanks for having me.
today we're basically going to be talking about Apple and what they've been doing in this, with the iPhone XS and, you know, the things.
Right.
We're going to be addressing things like the ChargeGate issue and a couple of other things because I know Jason has a XS Max. These names, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep. So he could give us a little bit of like inside information. So something that a lot of people have been actually discussing in the past few days has been ChargeGate, is what some people are calling it. Basically, what ChargeGate is it's this issue where you basically plug in your XS Max or XS to charge, and it doesn't charge until you turn the screen on. And a lot of people even have it not charging at all, which is not very good. What are your thoughts about this? And do you think it's a big issue?
All right, so I'm trying to test it right now. and mine seems to start up charging with the screen off, but it might be because this lightning cable is connected to the computer. I don't know. But I mean, it's just the hits just keep on coming for Apple, seemingly with this launch. I don't know what to say besides, first it's Beautygate. I mean, Unbox Lou has been on fire here for the past.
Yeah, exactly. He's been
week or so.
literally doing video after video anti-Apple.
This lightning cable is connected to the. Yeah, it's good for ratings these days.
Yeah, I mean, he started with Bendgate, and then it's led on to ChargeGate now.
Yeah.
Someone said ChargeGate is going to be updated in like 3 days. Yeah, I mean, iOS 12.1 beta is out already, and people who have updated to that, it doesn't actually work. So...
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I can't remember what I just said. No, basically, it fixes the issue. There we go.
Okay.
So, in 12.1, it just charges normally, like a normal iPhone.
Right. Okay.
I'm tired.
So has that update come out yet, or is that?
It's just a beta right now, but I think that probably Apple will release iOS 12.0.1 next week to fix the issue. That's what they usually do. Anyway, we've got let's shout out some people in the chat, and then we'll talk more. So we've got Just a Normal User, we've got Mohammed, we have Dapper Dop, welcome to the stream. We also have Gregory Allen and Evan7, and we've got a few more people which are lurking.
Lurkers. Come join us in the chat. Ready.
Okay, so actually I just actually finished watching your 10s Max review. Do you just want to like share like some brief thoughts on it, like on the stream right now?
Yeah, I mean, my whole fear about the 10s and the 10s Max were they were gonna, just kind of be another iPhone. iOS 12 is a great improvement over iOS 11, but at $1,100 to start and $1,240, I think $1,245 or $1,250 for a 256 gigabyte model, which is where most people would want to go. I mean, there's just unless your iPhone just died and you have to have another one and you have $1,200, then it's hard to recommend buying the 10s Max. I mean, there are Apple devotees who will do it. It's a good phone for what it is, but if you have a 10, if you have an 8 or an 8 Plus, I can't see moving to either one of these newer phones, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you are an Apple sheep, then yeah, you'll buy anything, but I honestly haven't bought it because it's not that big of an upgrade from the 10, because I have the iPhone 10 right now, and it just this thing works fine. It works just as well as the day I bought it, and I don't think spending another $1,000 on a phone isn't worth it doing it two years running.
No.
Also, this is an S upgrade, so.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I mean, if I still had an iPhone 10, I would happily go back to that. Like right now, I have the Note 8 or the Note 9 and the 10s Max, and I do want to have an iPhone, but I just haven't figured out exactly what that's going to be, because I don't want to. This one has some screen problems. That's something that I've had that it doesn't seem like anybody else has had. Mine has some blue tint issues, and it also has seems to just be washed out in the color. So I can't quite figure out why it's doing that. I mean, I kind of think maybe this is an LG panel as opposed to a Samsung panel, but there's no real way to know that. So this one's definitely going back. I do want to have an iPhone. I just don't know where to go, because you can't get the 10. The 8 Plus is a great phone, but I kind of like the form factor of the 10. So
yeah, I love the form factor of the 10 as well. It's perfect for like my hands and stuff. I tried the 10s Max the other day in the Apple store, and it is cool that you have a bigger screen and it's an iPhone and stuff, but still, it's not really that big of an upgrade. It's just the screen and the camera that gives you Beautygate or whatever. That's another
Yeah,
issue.
you know, I haven't looked. I'm sure people have done a ton of camera comparisons between the 10 and the 10s and the 10s Max, and I know there are some new things in the camera, but the thing is like, how much in everyday use, how much are you really gonna notice the differences in the camera between the 8 plus, the 8 plus 10 or these new phones? I don't think anybody's gonna be really like, yeah, now that I've got X feature, my camera game is really gonna be on point, you know. So there's it, you know, it's a bigger screen. You're right, and it's smaller than the Note 9, but something about it, like the width of it, feels a little unwieldy to me. It's just a little wider than I would want it to be, and while the Note 8 or the Note 9 is just taller and a little bit thinner. So I don't know. I mean, I really, again, I've always liked iPhones. I'm disappointed in what Apple's released this year, and they haven't given customers like a lot of choice this year either. It's like pay $1,000 or get the XR, and or the 10R. I'm sorry, I don't want to trigger anybody, but and I haven't seen the 10R in person. I'm not solely convinced that that the screen is gonna be up to snuff, but people who have said it says it is. But I just don't want to take. I don't want to take a chance on that. I don't want to get an iPhone that feels like a cheap iPhone. So
I mean,
don't know if it will. Or
I
not.
guess it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll feel like a cheap iPhone, because unlike the 5C, it's not plastic. It still has premium materials. It still has the not aluminum. It still has the glass back. Of course, the colors may look a bit because people see colors and are like, oh, peasant. But I honestly like the iPhone XR. I don't think it's a bad phone. Yes, say what you want about the screen, but overall, for what you get for $750, it's Apple. It's an iPhone. Apple is known for pricing things over the too high. I think for an iPhone, the XR is a good thing that Apple released that and gave, because I mean, a lot of people don't want to get the iPhone XR because they say, oh, the display is bad, but they also have the XS and they have the iPhone 8 Plus, which is cheaper and has 1080p display. I think I'm making a video on this. I've still got to edit it, about why the iPhone XR doesn't actually suck. And if you think about it, if you compare it to other Android flagships that are coming out this year, a lot of them have a notch and a chin. Most of them have a notch and a chin, and the XR doesn't have it. And that I guess makes it stand out from all the other LCD budget Android phones. It also has water resistance, which the OnePlus 6 doesn't have, and the Pocophone F1. And there's a lot of things that, yes, it's $750, and maybe it's not worth it compared to like a OnePlus 6. But if you like Apple, then the XR is a good option.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The only thing that bothers me, and this is from like a bigger picture kind of thing, is that, and I've said this in a couple of different places, you know, before this year, Apple was always selling like a smaller and a bigger phone in a sort of reasonable price range, you know, starting from reasonable and then moving up from there. And then last year they dropped the iPhone 10 on top, and that was a $1,000 phone, but people still had a couple of different choices for new phones. This year they've kind of flipped it to where they give them one new phone choice for like the sub $1,000 mark, and two new choices for the plus $1,000 mark. And I just think that's like, it's unfortunate for the people who definitely won't be able to afford to go for the nicer phone, you know, whether or not they're on they have a family and they have multiple lines and they can't get $4,000 worth of phones. I think the XR will be a good compromise for them, but until we see it, I can't really know. But when I'm using the word compromise and Apple, it doesn't seem right to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the only things that you're trading off, like when you're comparing the 10R to the 10S, is probably just 3D touch and the display. I think I can't think of anything else that you could be trading off. I mean, the camera, it has a single lens, and it's all for $250 less. So the average consumer is going to walk into an Apple store, they're going to see 3 phones, they look the same, they do the same things, and the screens are a little bit different, and then they see the price tag and they're like, the 10R, I'm going to get this because it's better for better value, I guess. That's what people will think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, I think that's very smart by Apple. They didn't. Here's the pricing. I thought was going to be like $699,
yeah,
$899, $1,000, something like that. You know, and of course that would mean Apple's bringing down prices on everything. But I was kind of surprised when I saw that the price structure was $750, $1,000, and $1,100. You're right. People are going to see the 10R and they're going to see that it looks like the other phones, and they're going to see the price tag, and they're going to be like, okay, I'll take one in pink or coral or whatever it's called, you know. So, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just not what Apple has typically done with their phone lineup, you know. So they're kind of moving the goalposts up a little bit.
I think it's kind of weird that this is like, there's the iPhone XS and then the XS Max, and then there's this other iPhone. It's kind of like out of line, because Apple every year, as you said, they release 2 size phones. There's been the 6 Plus, 6 and 7 and all that stuff, and then they just released a 3rd phone. But I mean, people buy that one because it's an iPhone and it's cheaper, I guess.
Yeah, especially if they want the newer look, and not, you know, and not like the 7 or the 8. So if they want that newer look, they're all about the notch.
Yeah.
Then they will. then the 10R will be a decent choice for them.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of people are saying. Why don't they just buy the iPhone 8 or the 7? But people want the new look. They want to show off and be like, I have an iPhone, I have the newest one. They probably won't really care that it costs a little more. Also, a lot of people will be getting this phone on contract, so it won't really matter that it's $750 instead of $800 or whatever. And right. I too was surprised when they came out with the pricing, because everyone was saying, oh, it's gonna the 10R will cost $700, the 10S will cost $1,000, and the 10S Max will cost $1,000. And in the end, it was just like, yeah, the prices I think are a bit too high this year for iPhones.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like, especially now that the more premium models are having, well, at first I thought it was just a few little things here and there that need to be worked out, but now it seems like there's a significant amount of stuff that needs to be fixed, which of course it will. You know, stuff like this ChargeGate, I don't understand. Like, I was using the iOS 12 beta on an iPhone 7 Plus, and it worked great. So it's weird to me that, like, the official release is buggy in these ways.
Yeah.
I didn't notice any beauty mode on my selfie camera in the 7 Plus, but then again, I'm not really a big selfie guy, so.
I mean, also, I don't get why this is a bad thing. I thought people don't want to look ugly in photos.
But I think people want to look like humans.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
It smooths everything out, and like smooths the edges so much that, you know, there's just you
start looking like an alien or something.
Yeah, you're looking a little bit like you're made of like plastic, which is just weird. I mean, I could not reproduce what Lou on Unbox Therapy was able to get. His
were weird. His really looked very like beauty mode-esque. I wonder how many pictures he took to get that look.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Okay, so someone here is saying the 10R isn't Apple's budget phone. It's just for people that can't see the difference between the 10s and the 10R screen. Yeah, I completely agree. Everyone's putting the iPhone 10R out there as a budget iPhone. It's not budget. $750 is not budget. It's budget in terms of Apple, but it's not really budget. Because there's the OnePlus 6, that's $500. That's a budget smartphone. I think this is just another iPhone that's cheaper than the more expensive ones, I guess.
Yeah, I think what some people might be reacting to is still the ghost of the iPhone 5C, which was definitely supposed to be a budget phone. It wasn't really, and it brought out the colors and, you know, tried to differentiate itself with that. Now I know that the 5C had older specs, older hardware inside, everything like that, and the 10R doesn't. But I think that's what people's knee-jerk reaction is. They know of the 5C, they know it had colors,
Yeah.
and now they're kind of like, is this the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where some people's minds are going.
Yeah, because the 5C did also have a lot of issues, and people don't want to be like, oh, I'm buying this phone and now it's going to have issues just like the 5C. But some people don't realize that this is not another 5C. This is basically like an iPhone XS, but with aluminum instead of stainless steel, and it's just trading off a couple of things. But the iPhone 5C, it had the specs of an iPhone 5 and a plastic back. It wasn't as good, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't, and you know, I think it was a way for them to use the leftover iPhone 5 parts in a cheaper body. But I mean, at this point, you know, we've been around and around and around, you know, between me and John Prosser and everybody else. We're talking about the 10R. It's like, okay, we know what it is. There are a lot of questions about, you know, will the screen hold up, etc., etc., and we're just gonna have to wait until later in October to find out for real. And I think that's gonna be a really interesting, like, couple of weeks once that phone comes out.
Yeah, actually, something I've been meaning to ask you: are you a fan of smartwatches, or in particular the Apple Watch?
I do really like smartwatches. You know, I've had Apple Watches in the past, but you know, in my, like, when I wasn't making as much money on YouTube, I would routinely have to kind of like buy stuff and sell stuff in order to buy other stuff to review on the channel, etc., etc. So I've gone through several Apple Watches just in that cycle, and I have like a Samsung Gear S2 that, I mean, it's $150. It works on any phone, and I haven't worn it recently, but that was kind of good enough, quote unquote, for a while. The Series 4 Apple Watch is really one of the only things that's keeping me thinking like I want to have an iPhone for the rest of this year, because the Series 4 Apple Watch just seems like, I think it was the best thing that they announced on
Same here.
You know, on that whole day. So much impressive stuff. I think it shows where the Apple Watch could go as a product. You know, it's no longer going to be just sort of like an accessory. I could see it becoming much more integrated into how people use. It's at the point where you could leave the house without your phone, really. So I think it's really cool. And if I do end up getting an iPhone of any kind, it's going to be because I want to use the Apple Watch Series 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Apple Watch Series 4 is a really, really good watch, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this isn't working.
I get to see one.
Audio issues.
So.
My headphones aren't loud enough for some reason, so I'm having to. I tried using the AirPods, but they didn't work. What's going on now?
Hello?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Never mind.
Okay.
I thought the AirPods were going to be louder, but they're too loud. And also, I can't adjust the volume, which is weird, because I'm using basically the whole setup I've got here with OBS is a bit weird.
Yeah. OBS is so difficult. It's like it's a simple concept. Like I want to do this simple thing, and then OBS seems to make it really hard, and there's always something that doesn't quite work right.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you're in the middle of a stream and it just crashes out of the blue, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And everyone's
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
what's
that's-
what's happening to this stream? And then you go and see, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do some more game streaming, or at least like go on Twitch and do some stuff on there, and I just keep putting it off because I haven't set OBS up to the point where it's actually all set up the way that it needs to be. So I guess I need to. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe that'll be what I do tonight. So.
Someone here said you can easily install a 5S logic board and Touch ID in a 5C. I wonder if you could do the same with a 10R. Why? What would you do with a 10R? That's weird. Would you install the display from an iPhone 10? But then what's the point?
Yeah, I don't.
That'd be
I don't-
weird. I didn't even know you could transfer Touch ID to a 5C.
Yeah, I could see how that would be possible. The shape of the body is the same.
It's just the
So-
cameras that are going to be a bit weird.
Right. Yeah. Now we got Tech Rant in the house. Trusted Texan is here.
I'm getting a couple
Everybody's-
people.
Yep.
Okay.
So have you gotten the Series 4 Apple Watch, or are you waiting, or?
Well, I was thinking of getting one, but then I got an Apple Watch Series 2 instead, and the reason I got this is because I wanted to make a couple of videos on if you should buy the Series 2 in 2018. But now I'm seriously considering to get a Series 4 because that watch looks so good. From the reviews I've seen, it looks really good.
Yeah, that's kind of what always catches me. Is it's like, oh man, the Series 2 is super cheap, and I could probably get an LTE Series 3 and it not be that expensive. But then, you know, the new models always just look so good that you're like, oh.
Exactly, yeah.
next thing you
Especially
know,
this
spending
one.
hundreds.
This was
Yeah.
like an almost full redesign with a big screen and
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in person yet.
yeah, me neither.
When I went out to grab the iPhone XS Max, I was at just my normal AT&T carrier store, and they didn't have any on display. I'll have to go to Best Buy and check it out one of these days.
Actually, on the subject of Apple Watches, apparently someone said that the Apple Watch Series 4 will sell like 4 million units in this quarter. So that's actually really impressive for an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I bet that's gonna happen because it sold out within seconds when it first opened for pre-order. Everyone wants it.
I just looked on AT&T's website to see what the wait times were to just get, you know, like order one and have it shipped to you, and like the stainless steel ones were out to November before you could get one.
Wow. Yeah, I remember checking a couple of hours after the pre-orders started, and it said like already start of November, and that was just like 2-3 hours after the pre-orders started. So those things sold out quickly, and apparently they're gonna be like there's another company that's manufacturing them now, so they're gonna be able to make more. But I honestly think this is gonna turn out like the AirPods, maybe.
Yeah.
Because the AirPods, I had to wait almost a year to get mine, and even when I got mine, they weren't available in a lot of places.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed recently that like you can walk into Best Buy and they have a pretty decent stock, but there's sometimes in big box stores like that where they just don't have any.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the manufacturing process or the kind of volume that they can put out at any one given time, but they've been scarce all the way through.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even now, some Apple stores don't even have AirPods in stock.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
means, and I mean, they're one of the best-selling Bluetooth headphones now in the world, and also customer satisfaction rate is very, very high with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm highly satisfied with mine. The only thing that I don't like is the case because it scratches very easily. But I mean,
Yeah,
sound quality they're not that great, but the convenience wise they're really good.
Yeah, I mean, even using them with the Note 9, like I downloaded this app on the Note 9
Oh,
called
yeah.
AirPower, and AirPower, at least, you know, it hooks up when you take them out of the box. It doesn't have like the sensors for like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I have that app on every Android phone that I've tried in the past. Well, ever since I got the AirPods, I've installed that app. So
Yeah, it works pretty well. It works
Yeah.
pretty well, and yeah, I love the convenience of them. They sound okay. So on some things they sound pretty good. On other things they sound just kind of okay. You know, they're not the best for music, but they get by.
yeah, I mean they're great for like when you go to the gym and when you're working out and stuff, and even just when you're going on trips, just chuck these in your pocket and you're good. You don't have to bring a massive wire with you, basically.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I figure I'm taking a trip out to Vid Summit here in
Oh, yeah.
a week or two, and I can't decide if I want to get some noise canceling headphones. I have a couple of pairs that have been sent to me that I haven't reviewed yet, but the ones that I like the most are just on-ear headphones, and they're very tight and they press hard into my ears, which then presses hard into my glasses. So my ears are like 30 minutes in, my ears are really hurting.
Yeah, I have issues with the on-ear headphones as well. They just start hurting a lot, and that's why I use over-ear. I prefer over-ear ones, even though they sometimes they may have some noise bleed, but they're more comfortable for me at least.
Yeah, I agree. I'm probably gonna just rock the AirPods on the trip though.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to carry around a massive thing with you. AirPods are so good because they're small, convenient. They can fit anywhere. So
Yeah. As long as you always put them back in the case when you.
yeah, exactly. And as long as you don't fall asleep with them in your ears and then they end up falling out while you're sleeping.
Right.
I mean, I've never had mine fall out once. Actually, I was out running the other day, and one almost fell out. I had to stop and put it back in my ear. But if you lose one, it's kind of pricey to get them back. But I've never lost mine, so.
I'm on my second set because I lost one of my first set, and I didn't buy a new set for a while because I thought, well, it'll turn up. I'll find it someplace. We even moved. We cleared everything out of the house where we live and moved to a different house. I still never found it. So I have no idea. I have no idea what happened.
That sucks.
I also lost a shoe. I lost a shoe in that move, and
Oh.
that doesn't make any sense. So,
Yeah, it's weird
Yeah.
when you move, you lose stuff, and you're like, where? I remember actually, my first ever smartphone was this Chinese knockoff iPhone that I got. I was living in the Middle East, and we went, and there was this mall in Dubai or something, and we actually went there, and they had cheap knockoff iPhones, and I was so excited. I was like, I've got an iPhone now, and I showed all my friends that I had an iPhone, and I paid like $20 for it or whatever, and then I lost it in the move coming back to the UK, and I was like, I really want this. And now thinking back, if I had actually kept it with me, I probably would have been able to make a couple of videos, and I don't know,
right.
maybe they would have done well.
Yeah. Well, you never know. You never know. But yeah, I've always wondered about those knockoff iPhones. Like, does it just run Android, or they somehow figure out like?
I think they run Android, but they run a very, very heavy iOS skin on it, and and some of them are even really bad. From what I've seen from Everything Apple Pro's videos, some of the not like the skins that they put on are horrible.
Right. Yeah, I've always been curious about that. I got my first dummy phone this year. A case company sent me a dummy phone of the Note 9, but it was just like, it wasn't functioning at all. It was just the right shape and size.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe next year I'll spend the money on like the real mock-ups like some people get. But I think people were paying like $300+ for those things.
I
I'm
think
like,
I found.
not even a real phone.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like the actual dummy ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
of the I think Venya Geskin, who's a big leaker or whatever. You probably heard of him.
Yeah.
I messaged him and I asked him if I could get one of those dummies and was like, it'll be $400. I'm like, I could buy an iPhone with that with that money pretty much, almost.
Yeah.
Or at least pay
I know,
half,
I mean, and
for half of it.
You really have to think, like, if you're doing it for your channel, you have to think like, okay, am I gonna make $400 back on the videos that I could make with this? Otherwise, unless you want to just have it as sort of a collector's thing, you know. But overall, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, and then all I did was waited like 2-3 weeks, and then I started seeing on eBay that they cost $20 from China, and I still didn't buy one because I didn't really see the point. But last year when the iPhone 10 came out, I ordered one like a dummy model, and it arrived literally a day before my actual one came out or something. So
Right. I think that's part of what Geskin and the other people who sell them.
yeah, they
what
get them to you
capitalize on
quick.
is- Yeah, and so you have time with them before the real phone comes out. But I'm always curious as to how much that really benefits, you know, your channel. So it's like, I've
Yeah,
got a fake
exactly.
one. Let me show you all the things it can't do.
It doesn't have a screen. At least it doesn't have a 720p display.
Yeah, 828p.
Yeah, exactly. 830, 820, whatever. That's something that really annoys me. Everyone's calling it a 720p display when it actually isn't. It's like it's in the middle of 1080 and 720, so it's not that bad,
Yeah.
but it still is.
Well, again, I mean, I've said I just think it's kind of a weird move for Apple to go down like that, unless there's something that we don't know about how the screen has to be manufactured to fit into that form factor, or to have the rounded edges, or whatever it is. Like when they could put a 10-inch or a 1080p screen on the iPhone 8 Plus, like.
I mean,
Why?
I think one of the reasons why the pixel density is so low and why the resolution is so low might be because they've not got a chin. That could be a reason, but I'm not really sure why that would be a reason.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean, at this point, we're just gonna have to see what it looks like in real life. I mean, like people like Andrew Edwards and some other folks have, went to the Apple event and were able to like get eyes on it and said it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
It looks like a good screen, but we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
There's always-
until you try something, you can't really say that it's bad, because maybe you walk into the Apple Store and you try the iPhone XR, and then the display looks okay. I mean, Apple has been known for making very good LCD screens. Every iPhone I've had that has had an LCD has been completely fine. I've not had any issues with it. I've got friends that have iPhones and they've never had issues with this display. I mean, not even with the iPhone 10, the display isn't bad with this one either. But ever since they went with LG on the 10s and 10s Max, you've had issues with it. I think we might be seeing Apple kind of going south with displays. I don't know. I mean, apparently
funny.
LG's making the screens for the 10R as well.
yeah, which I don't think there's any problem with LG making LCD screens. I don't think they've ever had much issue with that. But the thing so when I did my Blue Shift video on my 10s Max, I went back and did a search through the news to see what kind of information was out there in terms of how Apple decided to use LG. Like, I know that Apple invested a ton of money in LG's ability to improve at least their capacity for making OLED screens. And so I looked, and at first I guess they weren't passing Apple's like quality test, and then suddenly 2 weeks before the phones came out, they did. So I don't know if that was like, we need more screens. Let's just call it good and and see where it takes us, or if they actually did improve or what. There's so much that's really murky about how that stuff works. Yeah, like September 14th, it was announced that Apple had decided to make LG the secondary supplier for their OLED screens. And yeah, I'm actually surprised. The problem that I'm seeing with my XS Max is pretty noticeable. So I'm surprised that there hasn't been much else out there, other people coming up with the same sort of issue.
Yeah, because pretty much everyone who I've seen that has an iPhone XS hasn't really reported that issue. Maybe it might be just your model that's faulty. I don't know. Maybe you could try bringing it into Apple or whatever, and they'll give you a new one or something.
Yeah, well, I'm you know, my nearest Apple store, unfortunately, is like 2.5 hours away. So
Yeah.
I'll take it back. I'll take it back to the AT&T store. They'll look at me like I'm a crazy person. I'll exchange it for something else. I mean, nobody around here really knows all that much about anything with tech. So anywhere that I go, people just think I'm like some sort of weird OCD guy.
You probably show them, look, it has blue shift, and they're like, it looks completely fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if, for example, if I were to show my dad blue shift on a phone, he'd be like, I don't notice anything.
Right.
He's one of those people who still has an iPhone 6s Plus and says that there's not any difference between that and the XS Max. I'm like,
yeah. Well, there is one significant difference. The 6s Plus has a headphone jack.
oh yeah. The thing is, he's got AirPods and he never uses the headphone jack. Honestly, I don't even know if he's ever used it.
Yeah, I still like. I'm a little chapped that Apple took the dongle out of the box this year.
Yeah, that was weird. But I mean, it's Apple, so it doesn't really surprise me.
No, I mean, I heard a statistic that that headphone jack dongle is the best-selling Apple product at Best Buy
Yeah.
by a huge margin. So I guess they were probably looking at it and thinking like, well, if we're making that much money, if we take them out of the box, think about how much more money we're gonna make.
I mean, I think the worst thing they did with this year's iPhones is ship a 5-watt charge brick with the iPhones.
Yeah.
That I think is the worst decision they have done this year, literally.
Yeah.
I think they could have at least shipped an iPad charger in there, because the iPad charger is like what, 10 watts or something? And I mean, they could have just shipped that in the box, and that would have been better than a 5-watt power brick which will charge your phone in, from 0 to 50 in 3 hours or whatever.
Right. I kind of covered that in my video yesterday.
Yeah.
I was talking about how it takes 3 hours plus to charge the phone, which, I mean, if you're charging overnight, I guess that's okay. And the battery life on these phones is really pretty good. So, you know, if it's been sitting all night, you're gonna wake up the next day and still have close to what you went to sleep with if you're not charging it. But I've been using the iPad charger, and it does charge faster.
Yeah.
But the one that they're selling for the iPhone, the fast charger that they're selling, is 30 watts, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it charges from 0 to 50 in 30 minutes. But then you can go and get a third-party one. I actually got a third-party charger for charging my phone, and it doesn't charge as fast as Apple says the fast charging works, because it's probably because it's Lightning to USB, and also it's I don't know how many watts it is. It's like 50 watts or something like that. So it's not as high, but it was literally like $10 or something like that. And yeah. I mean, I didn't pay for it because the company sent it to me, but it works, and Apple wants you to spend $70 on their charger. That's why they don't ship that in the box, and they don't ship the dongle in the box, is because they make money off accessories.
Oh yeah.
And that's, I mean, I'd be surprised if they made more money from like the dongles or whatever than they do, for example, I don't know, MacBooks or something. iPods.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way: if you buy a new MacBook, you like a MacBook Pro or something, you have to buy probably 2 or 3 dongles on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Unless
So-
you go the Drew route and you get a Quack or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, is that the base thing?
No, that's
Or-
the thing you plug in. It has a load of ports. Drew keeps going
Oh,
on
yeah.
about it. It's. I mean,
I've
it's
tried-
cool,
I've
but
tried.
Apple doesn't sell that. Apple doesn't want you to buy that. Like, you have to buy our dongles. You have to buy these 10 dongles, spend $300 on them, and then you're good.
Yeah, they do sell the Belkin Thunderbolt dock, but it's $350.
That's
Which is-
crazy.
Yeah.
Might as well just buy the dongles then.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried a couple of different USB 3 and Thunderbolt dongle, docks and stuff. The one that I had recently, when I still had my MacBook Pro, there's something about the sound, like it was introducing sound into like my monitor speakers, so there'd just be like this constant buzzing, and it wasn't cheap. It was like $80 or something for a bunch of ports, and the reason it was less expensive was because it was USB 3, not Thunderbolt. But with a lot of these things that you can buy off of Amazon, they're not super high quality. So if you're doing something that's, you're trying to get videos out, or you're doing audio stuff or whatever, it's almost like you have to spend the money, which is again another part of the reason why I went with the iMac Pro instead.
Yeah. How is the iMac Pro, by the way?
It's awesome. I love it. I have not had any problems with doing any video stuff or anything like that. Like, yeah, I do. Yesterday my video was longer, and I've been exporting in ProRes because
Yeah, I watched the video.
can.
Yeah.
And this video was like almost 30 gigabytes in ProRes when it came out. Literally, it finished rendering in less than 5 minutes.
That's crazy.
And I was just like, what? This is insane. It took longer to run it through compressor than it did to render out of Final Cut.
Oh wow. I mean, Final Cut Pro is the best editing software for a Mac by far. I think it's even better than Premiere on a PC.
I've used Adobe stuff for a long time, and so I'm really familiar with how the Adobe sort of mindset works. So for a long time I preferred Premiere, but Premiere got just really buggy for me. And the last time I tried to use it, it basically froze in the middle of a project I was working on. I couldn't get it to actually play. It'd sit there and the playhead was there and it wouldn't play. I went as far as to uninstall, reinstall. I tried to, wipe the preferences folders and all that stuff, and I still couldn't get it to work. And then it's like an hour after doing that, I was like, I'm done with Premiere.
Yeah, I've tried
So-
Premiere, and I grew up like editing in iMovie and Final Cut Pro, so I'm used to that. I tried Premiere briefly the other week, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna learn a whole other software. I find no, Final Cut Pro works and it works well. So
Yeah.
Premiere is
Yeah,
a
I need-
learning curve. I have to be honest.
Yeah, I need to take some sort of like Final Cut online course or something, because I know how to do stuff in it, but I don't know all the ins and outs, and my workflow probably isn't like by the book. I'm probably doing things a little bit just my own way instead of the way it's supposed to be done. So I need to carve out a chunk of time to just do a long form tutorial on how to use it. But I'm at this point, I'm pretty fast in just like doing things up,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been trying to make my videos in terms of editing really as simple as I can make them, so I can get as possible.
Yeah.
So like for the past couple of weeks, as I've had this big surge in subs and views, the majority of the videos that I've put out have had 0 B-roll. It's all just me talking, and I'll do that sort of like push in and push out quick cut thing, just to get a little bit of something going on that the eye can grab onto. But yeah, it's like I just wanted to see what would happen if I went with no B-roll at all. and lo and behold, one of those non B-roll videos got like 1.2 million or 3 views.
Wow.
So I don't know if I can attribute to that, but it sort of goes against the whole theory of like, well, you have to have really good B-roll.
Yeah, I've been trying to up my B-roll game lately, and it is hard to just like plan out exactly how you want the shot to look like, because then like when I shoot B-roll, I shoot it with like I bought this massive slider and stuff, and I still haven't figured out how to use it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for me, I usually either have a couple of videos that I know I'm gonna make, or I have like I'm gonna make this video on this day, and so I just kind of like I write the script, I film, I cut, I send it up. If I was working like videos ahead and I knew what B-roll I was gonna need, and I could take time at different times of the day or the week to shoot it, that wouldn't be as difficult as like, okay, I just shot the main A roll, I have to now try and figure out like what B-roll shots I need. So
yeah, usually what I do with B-roll is I watch the video through, and then I just mark down on a piece of paper at what points I want the B-roll and what type of B-roll I want and how long it has to be. But then I end up doing that, and then I start editing, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm missing something here, and then I have to reset everything up and then start.
Okay.
We'll wrap up now anyway, because we've been here for about an hour.
Doing audio stuff. Sure.
Okay, we're back. Are we back? Yep. Okay, we're back working. Okay. I think we can wrap the stream up now. We've been going on for about an hour. So thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Jason, for being on as well, and for just having a chat about some Apple stuff. It's been good. And if you guys want to subscribe to Jason, all of his links will be in the description below, as always. So be sure to go subscribe to him, because he makes some really good content. I really enjoy watching it. And yeah, thanks again, Jason, for being on. And I guess we'll catch all of you guys on the next one. I'll catch you guys on the next one. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
See you later.
Yeah.